Thor has a daughter, Korg is just a head, and Jane is dead. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Conversations Thor Love and Thunder edition. As always, I am joined by Hush, and I am, as always, CapShotz. Today we're going to break down Thor Love and Thunder. We were supposed to do this a little while ago, but unfortunately, I was away during the same weekend that it released. So it was a little bit late, but better late than never, as I always say. I don't say that at all, actually. This is just a convenient place to put it, I guess. So, what was your overall first reaction after seeing the movie? Like, what was kind of going through your mind?
I was kind of like hesitant because I hold Ragnarok at a very high level because that was a movie that like genuinely surprised me in how good it was, with for basically everything. And I thought it was pretty good. I was a little hesitant at first because I had some stuff in the back of my mind. You see stuff on Twitter, people saying it was horrible, like this movie was ass. I was like, oh god, here we go again. Because Marvel, except for like a few movies, they haven't been doing that great so far with Phase 4. It's been a little rocky. Um, but after I watched a video on Screen Crush about like Easter eggs and stuff like that, and he kind of broke down the movie and like the symbolism and stuff like that, I was like, wow, this movie was like way better than I thought it was. So like, I'm actually really excited to see it again when it comes out on Disney Plus. I thought it was really good. Some parts I didn't like. I think it's the second best Thor movie. What about you?
Uh, I think it's the third best. The original Thor was really good in my opinion. I think it was a very like cool, like serious take on the character, with it being his first kind of introduction to Marvel. Um, the third one obviously is the greatest, arguably one of the like top seven to me maybe. Marvel movies in the MCU, but this one this one was a weird one to me a little bit because they got some more star power arguably when you get. I mean, obviously they had Jeff
Natalie Portman.
Goldblum. They had Jeff Goldblum in Ragnarok. They had Loki, Tom Hiddleston return, like all these different characters. And you had Bruce Banner, the Hulk in it. But this one was a little weird because you had kind of like the most star power you've probably had in a Thor movie. With the Guardians of the Galaxy cast being at the beginning for a little bit. You have Christian Bale as God Butcher. You have Russell Crowe as Zeus. You have all these different kind of like introductions, and there's a lot to unpack during the movie that doesn't get explained a lot, but I think is a good slash bad thing. It gives us the ability to kind of sit there and think on what it means, and then it also opens the door so that they can explain it later as to what it really does mean. Um, I thought Thor Love and Thunder was actually really fun. Like you said, same. There's some couple parts that were like, okay, really, but
Yeah.
but overall, I think the movie was a lot better than what people were saying. People were really clowning the part with Heimdall's son and like the CGI on that. Dude, I really don't get it as much like as it was. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
like it's like you're not gonna really nitpick that much over it. And like I
Yeah.
literally tweeted specifically after the movie was done and I watched it. I was like, "You fucking movie critics are lame as fuck. You Twitter wannabe
Yeah.
movie critics are so lame."
Yeah. Because like, I when I saw it, there wasn't like that many people in the theater, but like I was like actually laughing a lot. Like I had a good time with like the thing that got me the most, and it's the stupidest thing, but it was the goats. Whenever they would, because he literally did the same thing as the meme when the goat screams every time they would like do something, and I just found that hilarious. I personally, I mean, I think everyone does. Chris Hemsworth when he's goofy as fuck, it's fucking hilarious. I'm sorry, like how do you say his name? Taka,
Taika
the
Waititi?
director. Yeah, I'll never be
It's
able
a
to say
very
it.
tough name. It took me forever.
I'll never be able to say it. But his writing for the most part for the jokes that he used in the movie were pretty good. There's just certain things with the writing that I didn't like. I if we get into the things I didn't like, I want to see more Gore the God Butcher. I think there could have been a lot more of him. I think this movie could have used 20 to 30 more minutes, and it would have been even better in my opinion. Um, I want to see a little bit more of the Guardians. I think it was a little bit too short for how much they were actually in. And the reasoning for them splitting off was like I feel like was really rushed, like super rushed. For like, oh wow, we have to leave for this, and then it was kind of like, okay, now they're leaving. I'm like, what the fuck? Um, and um, I thought also I just thought the movie was too short. Apparently, Marvel wanted like the one of the things Marvel wanted was it had to be 2 hours or under 2 hours. I'm like, that doesn't like. No one really cares if it's 2 hours and 20 minutes, 2 hours and 30 minutes. People are still gonna go see it. Like, it's still gonna
Bro,
make a lot of
we
money.
watched a 3 hour end game,
Yeah,
and most people went to go see it at midnight, so they're obviously dedicated to go watch your movies. So
yeah.
making it under a time stable, especially with a movie like that, where you're introducing a character called Gore the God Butcher. There's no reason that some of the parts had to be as rushed as they felt. The Guardians part I was okay with. Don't think they needed to be in the movie much more than they were, to be honest. But it kind of gave us a little bit of like an idea, like with the way that um, that Korg was like doing a little story to the kids and kind of saying, "Oh, he's been with the Guardians for a little while and this, that, whatever." And then we go to that planet where he ends up destroying like their shrine or whatever, which was it was kind of funny. Like that scene was pretty funny. I was pretty
Yeah.
impressed by it with like all the Guardians just looking like the most unimpressed people. Like what the fuck? But
And the soundtrack for that scene was good too.
it was
I
great.
forget I forget
It
what
was one
song
of the
they
Guns N'
used.
Roses the songs, but I literally can't remember which one it was now. I
Was it
don't think it was
Welcome to the
Sweet Child of
Jungle?
Mine. It may have been Welcome to the Jungle. It may have been Welcome to the Jungle. I'm pretty
It's
sure it was
possible.
actually. I'm pretty sure it was. Um, the Guardians being in it, like for the few minutes that they were, and like the little bit of kind of humor that was placed within it, I thought it was fine. I thought it was enough of what needed to be done. And I actually kind of disagree with your point on the way that they were exited. I think that made the most sense because otherwise, if they just go on, we're gonna go on our own adventure and just leave you here, or whatever. Like, no, it's kind of a thing where like Thor, the two goats. I'm gonna try and say their names. It's very complicated.
I don't even remember their names.
Neither do I. I was trying to cover it up because I know they have a difficult name, but
But
and
they
then
were fucking
Korg
hilarious.
just go and they get Maeve. So it's like not Maeve. Isn't the boys?
Oh no, it was Lady Sif.
Lady Sif. They look the
Yeah.
same. I don't know what to say.
That's a thing where like I think they could have showed like they didn't have to show every god he killed or whatever, but it's just a select few. Like the one that was important to Thor when like that giant wolf one. I don't even know what the hell it was. Um, when he showed up there, I think they should have showed him battling Lady Sif. I think that would have been badass. And cutting off her arm. I thought that scene was funny. She's like, oh, I'm gonna go to Valhalla. And he's like, no, you have to die a gruesome death in battle. He's like, maybe your arm's in Valhalla. I thought that was funny. Um, but I wish I saw him actually kill that god because that was a giant beast. So that would have been pretty sick. That's like those are the little things I wanted in this movie to make it even better than it was. Um, but with the Guardian scene, like so, like they went in the ship and they're like seeing all this chaos going on by God, and like I feel like just it was not, it was like the writing that I feel like that was bad in that situation. I feel like they could have wrote it a little bit better to split them off. I feel like the reasoning was fair for them splitting off at that point, but to me, if the writing felt like the writing felt bad and it felt like it was rushing why they were like leaving. That was kind of like what I felt when I first watched it.
I mean, I can kind of get it a little, but I mean, it definitely they made it make sense enough to where it was like Gore's been going on an absolute rampage. Like, there's all these distress calls and stuff. The Guardians got to
Yeah.
save the galaxy. Thor's got to has this one specific one in mind where his battle mate, his kind of, one of the girls he's literally grown up with, being a warrior with for so long. Like he's gonna try and go there first, and they
Yeah.
find out they literally taking a still from a comic, which I thought was really cool. Like literally like shot for
Yes.
shot. I thought that was really cool. Um,
Shout out to the
yeah,
drama.
one thing I really wanted to see was Gore killing more. He's literally called the God Butcher, and we watched him on screen kill one god. That's
The only
it.
one? Was
It
the
was just
first
the one at
one?
the beginning. That's all it was.
Yeah.
I don't think we watched another one. I was very surprised we didn't see in what was that place called with all the gods in it, like the meeting hall. I forget what it was called.
I forget what I forget too.
I forget the stupid name they came up with for it.
It was
But
like
like
a
I'm
meeting.
surprised we just didn't see like Gore the God Butcher just go fuck on some gods over there. Like just go absolutely
Well,
fuck them up.
I feel I was watching an Emergency Awesome video where he thought like that little scene because it was in one of the trailers where it showed Zeus and everything. He thought that was like a setup by Gore, and I think that would have been cool. But like I understand why they were there and like why Gore didn't go there, because he was trying to like during for the story he was trying to draw Thor and well
And
basically
Stormbreaker.
mainly yeah Thor and Stormbreaker to what was the realm he was in?
Oh
Well, like that
shit.
the shat it was not the
Shadow
Shadow
Realm.
Realm.
I mean, it was a Shadow Realm, wasn't it?
It was kinda.
The
I don't
Dark
know.
Realm, was it the Dark Realm or something? It's like Dark
I
Shadow, some shit like that. But I'm not gonna lie,
yeah.
it's been a little bit since I've seen it, so like I'm a little rusty on it, but I'm getting the basics of what the movie still is.
Yeah. Trust me, like if you haven't seen it, one if you're watching this, we
You
just
haven't
spoiled
seen it, what the
everything.
fuck is wrong with you? The fuck you still watching it for?
Yeah, exactly. But I actually am excited to watch it again. But I understand why he wasn't there. But like, I really wanted more of Gore. Like Christian Bale killed it in my opinion, because like that, and I got this by watching the Screen Coast video. I didn't realize like I understood he kind of turned good at the end in a way, because he like didn't wish for all gods to be dead. He just wished for his daughter to be back from what was that thing he wished? I forget the name. It was like some
Dead.
universe
Like
thing.
fucking dead.
It
The
was like some
the
universe thing.
yeah, yeah, it's like one of the cosmic entities that is fucking nuts. So
Yeah. Um, but I was kind of frustrated because I really wanted to see more of him, and like Christian Bale's like a beast of an actor, so like I'm surprised that the director didn't do more with him.
well, even Christian Bale's admitted like, dude, there's a lot that was cut that just didn't make the movie, and like a lot of that
Yeah.
has to do with Marvel. I mean, it's not looking at Taika Waititi, it's not looking at any of the producers of this movie, it's looking at Marvel right now. Why
Hmm.
was all this shit cut? Because even Taika Waititi was like, dude, director's cut fucking blow. Like if the shit's gonna be in the movie, it's gonna fit in the movie. Like it isn't gonna be like, oh, we're gonna cut this because it doesn't fit the story or anything like that. Like no, everything that like some of these directors do, Taika Waititi being one of them, he likes to have fun, but he likes to have a free flowing story. And yeah, there's probably parts of that movie that feel so rushed because there was parts that got cut that weren't supposed to be.
They're
Stuff that he had to
they're
be like, well, I have to cut this because it has to be under this amount of time, but
mhm.
it will make the least impact on the story overall.
There was some stuff in the trailer that like looked amazing, like some visual shots that were awesome. That he cut like the I don't know if he cut it out or Marvel's like cut this out, but there was some really cool stuff that was cut out. And he said that like a lot of the stuff that was cut out was just jokes that like didn't fit. So like that's fine. But like what I personally wanted was just more gore and just more story development for a few little things, and then you've been fine. Because like even like we get to the Jane part, like her going to New Asgard was like a little bit rushed for me. Like I feel like it could have developed a little bit, and then we understand her reasoning. It was kind of just like thrown at us, and then she was there. Like we'd even see like when she goes there and she has the hood on. I don't know why she has the hood on, by the way. I don't know why she's trying to like. I don't know why she's trying to do that. Like no one knows who she is really anyway. Some guy. Remember when she was doing the cancer treatment and some guy, like, just recognized her
Yeah,
because she
yeah.
was. Yeah, actually, he barely even recognized her reading her own book. But like, um, when she sees a Mjolnir, it starts like it starts to kind of put itself back together, and we didn't even get to see her transform into Thor or Lady Thor
Which
or
I
Mighty Thor
which I
for the
think
first
was, I
time.
think that was cut. I think
I'm
I remember
assuming.
seeing something like that was cut, like that there was supposed to be a scene like that was supposed to be a part where like she sees it, but like, at the same time we also see like her first reaction of it, like in that battle before that scene even takes place when she kind of throws it back while she's telling Thor the story, which I
Yeah.
think ultimately makes more sense. I think it makes a lot cooler to have the full reveal at the same time as kind of like Thor, right? Because we're getting us as the fans are getting the same reaction in a way as Thor is. The same way we saw in the trailer, like holy shit, that's Jane Foster, Mighty Thor, all that type of junk. Um, but yeah, no, I mean I feel like there was a good comparison. Like we didn't see Gore the God Butcher, we saw Gore the Kidnapper. Like I mean, his literal overarching story throughout the rest, most of it was like the fact that his daughter died. He hates gods. Yeah, that's the story. But like, why is he kidnapping kids as the ultimate luring to get Thor to go there? I
Yeah.
thought that was not necessarily lame, but I thought what was lame was the fact that they didn't. I'm gonna say it again. Didn't show him really kill any gods, like any just mini battles, just anything like that. If I don't even care if it's a 2 second battle and he just like destroys like these gods, kills them really quick, whatever. But at least show me that. Like we're watching the God Butcher and we don't even get to see the God Butchering part. We just see
That was
the kidnapping the kids of gods part.
Yeah. Like that was another thing I had a little issue with because like the thing that Ragnarok had no issue with for me, and this is the issue I have with Marvel from some or most of their movies is tone issues because they try to throw in forced humor sometimes. And Ragnarok was just goofy from the start. It was always goofy. Fine. I loved it. It was fantastic. This movie it tried to be goofy, then it had its dark moments, and it was trying to be goofy. Like it was like I don't know. I had a big tone issue for me. Uh, but I agree, man. Like I actually didn't. I literally just realized that when you said that. Like he only killed one god. Like we needed to see more of that.
I mean, it's hard because obviously you're trying to stick to a PG-13 rating. You're trying to still have like a funny-ish type action movie, but like, did it need to be as funny as it was? Probably not. Only because of Gore the God Butcher and that storyline, you could go a mile with it. I mean, you could really
Yeah.
just take it and you can just go and make it like a dark movie, which after Ragnarok would it have made sense from Thor to be like, funny, haha. And then last time seeing him really was, Dude Thor. Um,
Mhm.
or Bro Thor, or whatever the fuck I'm pretty sure it was Dude Thor. I don't know.
I don't know.
Um, but they're making him go from that, and they kind of like show the little scenes where he's, getting back into shape and everything. But I don't think that made very much sense to, like you said, to kind of have the tone issues of like funny, dark, funny, dark. Like we go from dark of like this scene where Gore is carrying his daughter throughout the freaking desert, dying, killing the god, becoming Gore the God Butcher, all that stuff. And then we go to like the whole story of Thor with the Guardians and all that. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't make much sense. I
Yeah.
guess it's a way of doing it, but I mean, overall, I think this movie was still a lot better than most people were saying. Though I'm gonna stick to
Oh,
that point.
100%. Oh, 100%. I'll defend a lot of things for this movie, but also won't defend some things for this movie. I'm not gonna lie. Like some of the visuals. I have this Screen Crush video going on the side so I can like slowly remember stuff. This stuff that they shot when they were on that like moon
Hmm.
type thing, like when it was like blacked out, but like they were colorful. And, like I don't know, that stuff was shot beautifully. Like some of the shots in this movie was really really good. Like I was very happy with the visuals for this, and like I loved Jane's story slash character in this movie a lot, more than the past movies. And the Thor's costumes were great in this movie, man.
I
They
thought so
killed it
too.
with that.
I think the gold and that blue that's on the chest plate looks so sick. Looks great.
Yeah,
I think the helmet was a little much. Not gonna lie.
it looked a little goofy. I'm not
It
gonna
looked a little
lie.
goofy, especially with like his face and the way it moved. And, like the mask didn't really free flow like him. So I don't know if that
Yeah.
was really a thing where they used a prop helmet or they just used CGI. But it looked like CGI. Didn't look great. Not gonna lie. Um,
Yeah.
probably could have gone without the helmet. I think it was a little forced. It wasn't needed. Maybe not
Yeah.
forced. It just wasn't needed. Overall, I just don't think that needed to be done whatsoever.
Mhm.
But no, overall the costumes were great. I think the Ravager Thor was kind of cool. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Even like the him working out, transitioning from Fat Thor to Mighty Thor, or buff as fuck Thor
Yeah.
again, was kind of good with like the hat and like the strongest Avenger on. That was funny. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Um, I think Jane's costume was great. I think the Mighty Thor costume was really cool. I think the helmet was really fucking cool too. It was really dope.
Yeah.
Gore's
They
Gore's
pulled that off.
was so simple yet like so effective in the way that he looked. He was continuously black and white in every shot, which was really cool to me. I think that was a great what the hell is it? Like a well, I can't think of the word. But anyway,
We talking about transition or
not transition. It starts with T, but I can't remember what the hell it's called.
like the way it looked on screen?
Yeah, the way it looked on screen was really fucking cool. Basically, you see this character that it's just all black and white, just complete darkness, hiding in the shadows, nothing but the shadows. And you see like the light of like the fire when he pillaged the New Asgard, the lightning going through New Asgard as they're defeating like these shadow demons and shit. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Um, I think Tessa Thompson, King Valkyrie, getting to use the fucking Zeus's bolt was sick.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the light of Zeus's bolt on that moon when they're defeating, or they're like fighting the shadow monsters and stuff was so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Um,
They killed it with that. And like I at first I was like, oh god, like when I didn't know much about the Necro Sword, and they changed it a little bit for the MCU because apparently like the Necro Sword has a lot to do with symbiotes and stuff, which clearly Marvel doesn't have like access to for that. Fuck you, Sony. um,
fuck you.
yeah. So they had to change it a little bit. I fucked with what they did with the sword, um, and how they explained it and everything. I didn't know that like he can create monsters with the sword. I thought it was just Marvel like trying to like basically what they've done in the past, create like background fighting monsters for them to fight while they talk about stuff. But I was wrong, so I'll admit that on I'll admit that because during the movie I was like, oh god, here we go again with like these background fighting monsters. But that was actual ability with the sword, so good on him. This is why I watched the video, so I like learn and shit.
So
Um,
wasn't the part that Gore was trying to get to, was that Eternity? Was that what that was called?
yes, Eternity.
So the part before before he gets to break Stormbreaker and everything, that was Eternity, basically the whole, like the statues and stuff. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Um,
it's like
so
I forgot where it was.
one part I'm really gonna gas here, and I think it was the most shocking part of the movie for me was the fact that Thor was able to gift his powers to those kids, so
Yes,
like you said, they could have the whole dialogue between them as like there's still fighting going on in the background. I was so shocked by that. I almost like verbally like screamed in the theater because I was like, "What? That's such a clever idea." I think it was so funny to do that and like see the different little like kids kind of have their own little shiny moments defeating the monsters.
that was
I thought it
sick.
was really clever. It was really cool. At one thing, obviously one of the tone issues could have been, you could say, was that scene because you're going from serious to dark, serious to dark. They're having this serious
Yeah,
dialogue with like this really funny kind of comedic thing in the background. But like I think that was one part where the tone issues kind of worked because you have like
yes,
Thor and you have Gore kind of like battling and then like having this dialogue back and forth a little bit. Jane and Thor kind of fighting back and forth with him, and then you have like just in the background you see all these kids kicking the shit out of some shadow monsters. I think that was great. I thought it was so clever.
yes. I was very happy. I actually got chills when I saw that because like, and I like how like he said like the whole thing about getting their powers, and he's like for a limited time only. Like, I thought that was awesome. And also, now that I remember that scene, like Gore and Thor fighting like one on one in Eternity, I feel like that could have been a little bit longer because of how mighty both of them are. I completely understand why like Jane had to jump in at the end, for that one. But I wish that was a little bit longer. But seeing the kids fight in the background and stuff, that was and using like fucking like stuffed animals and shit. I don't know.
Right.
That worked
Just
for
like
me.
literal little scrap pieces of like these statues and stuff to fight monsters. I think that was great.
Yeah.
One part I actually kind of do want to guess as well is the way that they essentially gave Jane Mjolnir. Kind of going through this whole background of Thor basically like just saying out of like the love, not even really like necessarily not quote unquote meaning it, but at the same time like he obviously meant it, but like he didn't. I don't think he knew like what could come of the statement that he made. He was like always be there to protect her, and then
Yeah.
she goes on to say like, oh, I felt like it was calling to me, and then she gets powered up by it and all that. I was like, that was kind of cool. I fucked with that.
Yeah, like it wasn't it made complete sense. Even for me, like I don't know much about the Mighty Thor. I think it's what she's called, like Lady
Mm-hmm.
Thor or
Yeah,
Mighty
that's Mighty
Thor.
Thor. Yep.
I don't. I literally all I knew is that Jane Foster became Thor at one point. I was like, okay, cool. That's all I knew.
I
So
mean,
like
yeah.
they did a good job explaining that, and I really didn't see any like issues with that like at all with how they made it flow in the movie. It just hurt like how it was kind of like the only problem was as I said before, it was kind of rushed how she got there. Like I don't know where those books were they just there and shit. Like I was that was the only thing. But I thoroughly enjoyed Jane in this movie. Shout out to Natalie Portman, she killed it. And I love honestly like another thing I want to gas the way they use Mjolnir, I know it's like kind of shattered, but the way like it could like
Oh, that
go
was
into like a
so
million
sick.
pieces, it was so sick. Like the fighting that she had in this movie was actually really good, like really good. And I know she was like trying to come up with like cool like lines and stuff.
That was kind
Um,
of funny too. And then she literally like said it at the end, and I was like, okay, it's kind of
it
funny.
kind of hit. It kind of
It kind
hit
of hit a little
though.
bit.
I got a little chills. I'm not gonna lie.
I think it was kind of cool though because they kind of differentiated it a little bit more than Endgame when Mjolnir and Stormbreaker are being used together with Captain America and Thor. Like it was the same powers, so at some points you could arguably like, all right, which one's wielding it? But with this, with the way Mjolnir was splitting, the way like different fighting styles between Thor and Mighty Thor were so different, but it worked because they're two different god weapons that are being
Yeah.
used two different ways. but still using the same powers in a way. So I thought it was really cool how they kind of differentiated it and split them off between the characters.
And the cancer thing too, I think they did a good job with that, explaining that why, like as she becomes, when she uses the Mighty Thor power, it kind of like stops her body from healing or trying to fight the cancer, so like it kind of spreads even more. Like I think they did a good job with that. That kind of duality of like, she can use it, but there's a price. I like that. Personally, I thought this was funny. The little like jealousy, like they made Stormbreaker a little character, and the movie like being jealous that like Thor saw his old hammer and stuff. I thought that was funny. Um, and I think I wanted to see a little bit more action from what's the rock guy name?
Gorg?
Yeah, Gorg. I
No,
honestly
Korg, not Gorg.
Korg,
Good lord,
Korg,
Gorg,
yeah.
Korg, Korg,
I
Korg.
wanted to see a little bit more action from him. I just kind of like he was a big standout character in the last movie, so like I want to see a little bit more. I understand why, honestly,
Dude,
why they.
speaking of that, whenever Zeus like fucking just threw the bolt through him, I was like, no fucking way they're gonna kill the funniest character in this movie.
Oh, 100%. I actually was like, I was like, oh no, like they actually fucking killed him off, and then he was like, his head was there. I was like, oh thank
He's like,
God.
Thor, I'm under here. I was like, dude, no fucking way. He's just ahead.
Also, I'm gonna guess this too. As I said, as we said before, don't remember the name of the place where they were. The reasoning why they went to that like God meeting thing in that place. One, visually looked amazing, killed it,
Incredible.
absolutely incredible. Killed it with that. The reason why they were there, great. Reason what like how they snuck in made sense. Was I had no problems with that. The whole meeting and Thor talking to Zeus and like and like the whole scene in general worked really well. Even without Gore being there to like fuck everyone up and everything. Like I thought it was fantastic. And like Thor kind of standing up to Zeus, throwing the light bolt through Zeus. I was like, oh my god, he just fucking killed Zeus. I was like, holy shit.
Holy shit.
I thought all that was great, but one thing that they cut, and I don't know why, and I think it was badass. It was in the trailer. You can go look it up. Valkyrie was like fucking up those guards, and they were bleeding gold and shit, and she like licked one of the swords, and it was bad. Like it was just shot really badass, and they cut it out of the movie, and I was fucking pissed. So I wanted to see that. I just fuck with Valkyrie honestly. She's cool, man.
She has a good like little side character that literally just ready to fucking pounce on like any battle that happens. I think it's fun. I think it's like
Yeah.
a fun like kind of offset, but especially between Korg and Thor, like kind of just like, okay, how should we do this? And Valkyrie just like, we just go fuck him up. Like, what do you mean? We should go fucking kill him. Like, do it right now? All right, bet. Let's just go fuck him up. No, so kind of like getting towards like the back half of this. What did you think of the two endings that we got? So the ending of him taking over Gore's daughter. First of all, like how'd you think about that?
Surprised, honestly. I didn't see it coming at all. I thought there was gonna be some way they were gonna save Jane personally, and I was surprised to see her go. Um, and I was surprised to see um Thor like adopt a daughter, but like he made a promise to Gore that he'll take care of her, and that was a cool like little ending scene. Like the normal villain thing wasn't a case for this one. I kind of like that a little bit, because we've seen that so many times, Um, and I like that. I was surprised and like it was kind of cool that I do had one problem. I kind of like at the end where like they go like Thor and Love, I think is her name.
Love and Thunder. Dude, I thought that was so cool. I thought that was such
Yeah,
a fucking clever way to end the movie.
100%. And when they go to fight whatever they're going to fight at the end, I kind of wish she had Mjolnir and he still had Stormbreaker. I don't know why she has like the giant fucking thing.
I think just for the comedic value. Surely because the comedic
Possible.
value, and then maybe I'm thinking just in terms of like Thor wielding Mjolnir again because of Jane, because it was his original kind of thing, and like now we can pass down Stormbreaker to
Yeah.
the girl, which I mean it worked. I thought it was really cool how they made her Chris Hemsworth's legitimate daughter.
I was gonna mention that. Yeah.
To kind of make that, because that seemed like it was like there was real chemistry going there, but at the ending scene, which made so much more sense than I thought it would. Especially then finding out like, oh shit, that's his daughter. That makes sense.
Also, his son was in the movie.
Both
He
of them were.
was, yeah, he was the kid. Like if you remember in the beginning, where like they showed like Thor as like a child, he's the one
That was
running.
his son, right? And then
I thought it was sick.
his other son was one of the kidnappers, one of the kidnapped kids.
Really? What?
Then
Wait, I thought they only
t-
had 2 kids.
no, he has three. He has two sons and a daughter.
Okay.
And then Taika Waititi's two kids, they were kidnapped kids. Christian Bale's kid was a kidnapped kid. Like, I mean, it was literally. I think Natalie Portman has kids. I think they were in the kidnapped kids as well. Like, I mean, it was literally
Uh-huh.
a cast of like with the cast, and they had kids, and then they fucking became kidnapped kids. Makes it a lot easier. They're gonna go to set with mom and dad anyway. Fuck it, might as well put them in the movie.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so I, mean, I thought it was cool. It kind of made like a family movie in that way. Like I'm sure a
Mhm.
lot of those kids like idolize their parents and just idolize the people they get to work with and stuff. Like getting to do that. So I can only imagine how cool that was for them to be able to have like little things doing that. But so getting into the end credit scenes.
Yeah. Oh boy. One thing I really loved, and I didn't notice this at first. Truly, I had no fucking clue. Once I watched Screen Crush, I like, once I watched Screen Crush, I realized how much they actually set up Thor 5. They didn't do much setting up for Phase 4, which I was like upset, but I was like not surprised because in a way, like Ragnarok only did that with the post credit scene, you know. Um, Dude, having Zeus still be alive and Hercules coming into action, and I didn't realize the significance of Hercules coming in. I had no clue that he was such a big character in the MCU, dude. No clue.
I think with the inclusion of Hercules now, it's going to be a really cool way to make Thor 5. Because I think the way that it was described, I don't know much about Hercules in the MCU, to be honest, besides the video that you sent me. Is he is a longtime both rival and kind of partner at the same time. Like they become like really good friends, but only after kicking the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
Which I mean, that's literally just that's like the exact story of like Thor and Loki, and like a majority of like these movies and different things they've been in together. It's like they go from like hating each other, kicking the shit out of each other, to being like, all right, you're pretty good. Let's just go to the end so we can beat this like the ultimate person that we need to beat.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm really interested to see like is Hercules gonna end up turning on Zeus at some point? Like is Zeus gonna like be like, oh shit, like hold on.
I think so because in the video I sent you, so obviously they're gonna fight at first, and then when Thor, I'm assuming Thor, like as they become friends after they after they have a fight, and that fight better be fucking epic. That like those are two very equally matched like warriors, so I'm hoping that fight is really good. Apparently Zeus might go like to his. I don't know if Zeus's other son is Ares. I don't know much about that stuff, but like he might go to Ares to go finish the job because Zeus is fucking pissed. He what he was saying in the end credit scene that like all the gods used to be like worshipped to go come help people, and now they're just superheroes. They're not. That's not happening anymore. And now he's just realizing that, and he's pissed. He's like, I want people to fear us again. I want people to come worship us again. So he's fucking pissed at Thor mainly because he's threw a lightning bolt through him. So uh I think he's gonna go get Ares. I think Ares might be like Ares slash Zeus, and maybe some other gods might be like the big bads. Like now, but the thing is, this kind of leads into the other post-credit scene, which at first I didn't think anything of. But that was like a little second one. But um, Jane Foster, because she died in battle, went to Valhalla, where Heimdall greets her, and apparently that's significant because some of the people in Valhalla could possibly come back. And in the comics, Jane Foster has come back as a Valkyrie, which is pretty cool. I want to see more of the Valkyries. Like we got a very cool teaser of them in Ragnarok.
100%. Like that still of like all of them like in the sky and shit. It was so fucking cool.
Dude, it was visually amazing. I like that. It was so good. Um, shout out to the director on that one.
Facts.
But apparently, like Thor 5 could be bigger than we all realize if they do what Ryan at Screen Crush was talking about, like possibly having a battle of the gods, and the people of Valhalla were involved in that battle. So it's pretty interesting that what could be, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely opens the door to continue on what could be next for Thor. What I thought was really funny is at Taika Waititi and Chris Hemsworth went to go see the movie, and then at the very very end it says Thor will return, and even they both went, "Oh, he does." Like, does he really? I don't know. Like I mean, that's how, at least how like the articles were making it seem like they were both kind of actually surprised by the fact that like it says Thor returns, because Taika Waititi, like I feel like that must be something that Marvel kind of puts at the end. So it's like Thor
I
will
think so.
return, and of course Chris Hemsworth's been one of those proprietors of like I want to keep playing Thor. Like Thor is so much fun.
Mhm.
So I mean, it was. I don't think it was a question of him returning. I think it was a question of when he's going to return, how he's going to return, how is he going to fit
Yeah.
into either another movie, another series, whatever it may be.
I don't know. I don't know the timetable for when the next Thor's gonna come out. Because, like, in my opinion, I know some people now with this movie, because some people had a problem with it. They have a problem with the director Taka Waititi. I fucked it up again. I'm sorry.
Close enough. Close.
They have a problem with him. They don't want him to direct the next one. I want him to do it. He should be doing every Thor movie because he clearly loves the character and he knows how to direct. He knows how to visually do some stuff really well, like for it to look really good on screen. So I want him to do the next one, and I don't know the timetable because he's doing Star Wars, and he's a highly sought after director now. So I don't know what's gonna happen with him. Like how long the next. It might be like 3 years or more till we get the next one. And the next one's gonna be like I think the next one could be better than this one. Like if it's done right, obviously, and it's not shortened down to 2 hours. So
If they allow it, the movie will be probably a top. It could be arguably a top five MCU movie. There's been a lot of really great MCU movies, obviously, but it's ever changing. It's ever growing. With the future to come for it. So I think down the line, like the next Thor could be incredible. Like you said, as long as they do it right. Um, I don't think it's a question of if the cast will do it right, if the director will do it right. It's if Marvel allows it to be right. If Marvel's going to
yeah,
allow it to really be as good as it can be.
yeah. And also his daughter, Love. Now that she came back, apparently she has like powers and stuff. It was shown a little bit, like very teased a little bit at the end. Apparently, according to this Screen Crush, like that might be like a bigger thing in the future, where like her character is way bigger than we all realize. And I don't remember what the character was. It had to do with eternity. I know that it had to do with that, like some type of like cosmic power. But it was like very very big. It was the character like what he was describing sounded really fucking cool. Now I don't know if they do that. I don't know what they're gonna do. But I'm excited. I'm excited for that if they do that.
That part then.
Yeah.
All right. So as we kind of close this out, kind of want to go off on just a little bit of a tangent. Starting with the fact I think us as Marvel fans have been extremely spoiled, and that has kind of led to a lot of. It's really frustrated the hell out of me to see like, oh, Marvel doesn't know what they're doing. They don't know where they're going. Like, what could be their end game? No pun intended. But
Fuck you. Fuck
dude,
you.
it took over 10 years for Endgame and Infinity War to even be a thing. It took 4/5 years for Avengers to become a thing. Like, I'm kind of over this whole thing of Marvel doesn't know what they're doing. Dude, we had three great phases of things that took years to compile and become as great as they were. It wasn't just the characters, wasn't just the movies. It was literally the overarching story that was continuing to be molded as we got to meet these new characters. It took until I think Age of Ultron was that when Thanos came out. He's like, "Fine, I'll do it myself." Was that
That was
movie?
it. Yeah, it was.
So like that's even what Ultron was like 15 or something like that. Like it was like years after. So we're thinking
Mhm.
7 8 years after the original time that Iron Man came out in 2008 that a lot of stuff was starting to come together. Dude, I have no doubt in my mind that they're gonna be able to do a great thing and continue to make great stories. But holy fuck, I'm literally so tired of these people, like these literal Twitter critics, not even movie critics. Like these are fucking morons that think because they haven't realized by now it's been 10 years after everything that is MCU is not going to be the same thing as comic books. It's not going to be MCU related because mutants were a thing in the Marvel comics since they were a thing. They were always underlying, they were always a thing. And I'm sure that's some type of way they're going to have to try and explain it that way with MCU, but they didn't have rights to it. They had to work around those type of things like Wolverine
Yeah.
and Professor X and all these X-Men characters and all the Spider-Man characters at first too. They had to work around it. They had to do something else because they didn't have the rights to do it. With Miss Marvel's powers, I will admit that at first with the Miss Marvel powers, I was like, why is it different? Why can't she just do it with her body? Why does it have to be some kind of cuffling? But they made it into what the story was. I don't remember. I don't know if you've watched. Yeah, so you haven't watched it. So I mean, you'll know once you see it, and it makes more sense once you get towards the end of the series. You realize why that kind of cuffling. I forget what the way they word it, but the thing that she uses to get her powers is like an overarching story that explains a lot more of how that makes sense. Kind of brings into the mutant part. Kind of brings into potentially Inhumans. Probably not, because people hate the fact of Inhumans ever since that show came out,
Yeah, I just try to forget about that.
which is understandable. It was a terrible show. Wasn't
Uh,
great. No, but like honestly, it's so annoying to have every single person just being like, doesn't know what they don't know what they're doing. But whenever we saw Iron Man, we didn't care about what the overarching story was going to be 5 years down the line. We just cared about Iron Man being a character, and then
yeah,
Captain America, and then Thor, and then Hawkeye coming into Thor, and then Black Widow being a part of Iron Man's movie. Having Bucky show up in Captain America, Red Skull, and just all this different stuff. Like, and then at the end of Captain America, we kind of start getting, holy shit, we're about to have Avengers. It's crazy.
that teaser was sick, by the
Or
way.
even at the end of Iron Man, I should say. At the end of Iron Man, he shows him the folder that says Avengers Initiative, and
Yeah,
at that point we're like, oh shit, that's pretty dope. But then like we didn't sit there and like we weren't praying out. We were praying to obviously for it to come out, but we weren't sitting there thinking like, oh, how are they gonna do it? How is it gonna make sense in the grand scheme of things? Bro, they seemingly just literally threw these characters together and it worked. I
yeah,
mean, they
and
really did.
as you said before, they had to work around not having the rights to the X-Men and other things. Like they still can't do a solo Hulk movie because Universal has the rights to distribution, so
Which is
they have to.
hilarious because now they're gonna work around it and make a Hulk series.
Yeah, exactly. So
Which that's
uh,
pretty funny how they can do a Hulk series but not a movie. So it's very
exactly.
interesting how the business of like movies and TV works. How like you can have the rights
Mhm.
to a movie character but not a TV character.
Yeah,
Um, so I think with it being the case of like you just listen, if you're watching this and you like Marvel and you are like that, just fucking trust it. Please. Like we literally they haven't really steered us wrong in the grand scheme of what these characters are going to end up doing in like the grand scheme of a great story with whether it be a Doctor Doom great villain, whether it be a Kane the Conqueror big villain, whether it be Galactus or whatever big bad they decide to make, this phase 5, whatever. Fucking trust it. We literally sat there through 3 phases for Thanos to be become one of the greatest movies of all time.
Secret Wars is probably gonna happen eventually too.
Dude, Secret Wars is supposed to come out in a couple years. I
Maybe
don't well,
we'll see.
they're doing reshoots. I saw they're doing reshoots because there was originally
Oh, no, no, no. I'm talking about Secret Wars. Not the other movie, the show. I'm talking about what was that one with like all the multiverses collide and shit?
what
What was that
if?
called?
No,
No,
what?
no, no. It's like a comic book. Oh shit!
Secret
It's like
Wars.
yeah, but this is the thing. The show you're talking about is different. Is different because it has oh no the scrolls. It has the scrolls in it.
Secret Invasion?
Secret Invasion. Yeah,
Oh,
Secret Wars is
that's the one I'm talking about. Whoops.
Secret
Okay. Too many
Invasion.
secrets.
Thank
Too many
you.
secrets. So yeah, maybe it was Secret Invasion that's doing reshoots, but there was I know I
Yeah,
saw something which they did some scene with like Ukrainian stuff, and right now it's not great to make that a part of TVs
yeah.
or movies. Just being honest, but you know, I think with Secret Wars coming down the line, like that could be one of the best events in movie history. Better than
It's gonna
Endgame.
be
It
wild.
could be arguably better than Endgame. It could be better than anything that's come out at this point. Um,
That
so I
movie could
mean,
be 6 hours long, and I'd
dude,
save
I
it
would
for every
sit there.
minute.
I mean, we sat there for 4 and some hours watching the Justice League, the Snyder Cut. So what would be
Yeah.
stopping us from literally sitting there watching an Avengers movie for 4 hours with with like the cast that they could probably put together for it?
Like for some stories are too complicated to cut it down to 2 hours and 30 minutes. I'm sorry, it's just
And like
how it
I don't
is.
understand what type of numbers they're looking at where they think people would just walk out in the middle of a movie like that. I mean, as long as the 4 hours are worth it, as long as like they're filled with the story, they're filled with an action part of it. Like, what the
Flies
fuck would stop
by.
us from just sitting there?
And
Like
when it flies
nothing.
by, the Batman was almost 3 hours, and I wanted it to be more. When it ended, I was like, "Fuck, I want more." Like, what?
Even
Don't
when the
end.
Justice League Snyder Cut ended, I was like, They could have added more and I would have been down. Like, I mean, the four
Exactly.
hour made sense. We got extra scenes from characters and shit. So nothing would literally stop us from watching a bigger and a longer version of it. So
Like
I'm
that's
just like, good lord, man.
I don't know what is going on over there, to be honest. Like as I said before, like I was a little bit I was expecting the movie I was like really expecting to push the Phase 4 story along was Doctor Strange, and I didn't do it at all, not even close. And the same thing with this movie, but like I didn't going in, I didn't really expect it. And if it did happen, whatever. If it didn't happen, whatever. I wasn't like really mad. I was just kind of like, okay, when are they gonna start get the ball rolling? Because now, like, they're not really doing anything at the moment. But I think Kevin Feige has a plan. They had like, as you said before, people were like worried, like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. Dude, they literally map out what the fuck they're doing. And sometimes they have to do some changes because of the, like COVID and everything. But like, they map out. They're probably in phase 6 right now, honestly, maybe phase 5. Like they're way ahead of us. They know what they're doing. It's just can everything go in order as intended without the world fucking collapsing on us? You know what I'm saying?
So here's the thing: is in 3 or 4 days, 2 days actually. I think it's the 21st. The 21st, they're gonna release things at Comic Con. We're gonna see
Oh,
thing. We're gonna see some Marvel stuff at
yeah,
D23. I think that's gonna be in September. D23. We're
yeah,
supposed to get the cast of the Fantastic Four. We're supposed to get a lot more on what's to come from past movies. I think in Comic Con they were saying we're gonna get some stuff on What If Season 2, X-Men '97 cartoon. And I believe one more thing. I just can't remember it for the life of me right now. But
I don't
like
remember either.
we're getting stuff that makes sense. And what if we saw Captain Carter, and then what did we see a year later? Captain Carter in live action, albeit for 5 minutes, but still,
Yeah,
like
and
I
she now
mean,
she might get her own series. We don't know.
I'd be down. I'd be
I,
fucking down,
I would
dude.
be too, dude. Disney Plus has Disney has so many good characters, and they can make. I know some of these Disney Plus shows have been not the greatest or like decent. I'd be down for all the shows, dude. I don't give a fuck. Like I just want to see some cool shit.
I'm
I'm
saying, bro, like
sorry.
people were kind of knocking Hawkeye a little bit. People were knocking all these different shows, like the Falcon and Winter Soldier, a little bit. I'm like, bro, these shows were great. Like we're so critical nowadays to like say that these things aren't great because of past stuff. Stop comparing it to other shit.
To
Like
be
they
fair,
like these characters are their own things. Like it has their own stories that's gonna help push along. Like with people are thinking that oh Disney Plus is gonna ruin it because it's gonna make this whole week to week thing. Do I think it's annoying? Yes, I think it's very annoying and very frustrating that we're getting a whole week to week, show release, but it kind of keeps us interested. It keeps us going, and it helps their year go along much longer. So like we're kind of in a standstill right now for a couple weeks until She-Hulk comes out, but that's
yeah,
like the second or third week of August that's gonna come out. So great. Um, like they're helping push it along, and at the same time, it's if anything making it faster because we're getting to see more of these stories from these characters. We're seeing where Falcon Winter Soldier are at. We're not 3 4 years down the line from now seeing oh they're just Captain America and the Winter Soldier still, or Captain America and Bucky.
yeah,
Now like we're literally seeing like these characters develop and become. Sam Wilson becomes Captain America. Captain America 4 is going to come out, and we're going to be like, that's right. We can recall back to Falcon Winter Soldier when he became the Captain America because of um, Captain America. What's his name? Something Bradley.
what?
The Captain America, the Black Captain America that he talked to.
Oh, I don't remember.
It's something Bradley. I really just don't remember. Like, but the
Oh
point
yeah,
is,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
he
yeah,
he,
I know
he
what you're talking
goes
about.
he goes and talks to him a couple different times, and he's like you should freaking do it because like you are who you are, not. I like that whole. I think I loved that show. I loved Hawkeye as a little mini show too because it set up Echo, it set up
Yeah,
Kingpin, it set up Daredevil stuff. Like,
and Kate Bishop being in more projects apparently, which I saw
yeah,
on Twitter last week. So I'm down. I liked her character. I want to see more.
like I think all these shows were a lot better than people think. They're just like
Yeah,
of course, if you sit there as their own projects, maybe they're not the greatest, but like it's set up like you got to think of the future of it too in a way. You have to
yeah,
be able to not criticize so much of what the current thing is and like think of the future for yourself, not think of what are they doing for the future. What does it mean? What do you think they're doing? Like have fun with
yeah.
it. What do you think they're doing? Don't sit there and like. That's why I like doing this in conversation because I like to theorize. I like to think of what could they be doing next, and if I'm right, great. If I'm not, shit. At least I had a cool fucking idea.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I was made to do stuff like this because me and my friend would talk for 2 hours after seeing a DC movie or a Marvel movie in a fucking AMC parking lot. So like I just love talking about this shit. So like
Well,
I generally do. Like
well,
I love this
dude, I
shit.
mean, speaking of loving, like just talking about it, like whether it be yeah, right, wrong, just talking. Like I after Spider-Man, I was with I think like five or six of my friends watching that movie. My brother, just all, like Brad Hayden, Kazra, like all these different people. We're just sitting there on a picnic bench past midnight, literally talking for an hour and a half, and I'm sitting there asking, "What do you guys think? What do you think? This is what I think." Like literally just bouncing back and forth because it's fun. It's fun to talk about.
Yeah. And to be honest, the end goal for this phase is I would assume it's gonna be Kang because of Loki,
I think
right?
it's set up. It's set up.
And like Kang, like I'm sorry if you haven't seen the Avengers: Earth Mightiest Heroes cartoon on, and now it's on Disney Plus, thank God, because the cartoon was really good. Fucking go
Incredible.
watch it, because they did Ultron fantastic, and they fucking had Kang the Conqueror really well. So fucking go watch that shit. So if you have no idea who Kang the Conqueror is, because he is a menace and he is badass. His intentions are semi good because he's trying to like has like a Mr. Freeze type thing because he's trying to like save his wife, but he's hard to beat. So it's going to take a lot of them to beat him if they do it the right way, obviously.
I mean, there's a lot of good future, coming to the MCU, and maybe
Oh
there'll be
yeah,
one time that we do one of these and we just talk about, what the overarching story may be at some point.
I'm down for anything. You know me.
Um, but I think to kind of wrap this up, we kind of went off on quite the tangent here. But my ultimate reasoning for going off on that tangent is people just calm the fuck down and just enjoy what we're seeing.
Yeah,
And introducing of new characters, bringing back old like characters that are getting MCU slots and stuff like that. Like just fucking enjoy. Stop
yeah.
taking shit so serious and literally being like, "What are they doing? What the fuck do you think they're doing? Have fun with
Like,
it."
like they thought this movie was going to be like the best MCU movie ever going in, and then because
And they
they
ruined
thought
it.
that, yeah, they rendered it. Like I was expecting to be maybe as good as Ragnarok or a little bit better, and when it wasn't, I was like, okay, it's still the second, in my opinion, still the second best Thor movie. So it's still fucking good. It had its problems, but it was still better than the second one for sure. That movie sucked. And it
Fuck
was
the Dark World.
dude, that was so bad. And I mean, we still have the gem of Ragnarok. Like, so go back and watch that shit. Don't think it's gonna. Don't think every movie going in is gonna be the best shit ever, because it's not. Like, there's gonna be little problems, and the Marvel's gonna marvel it up with certain like little writing things because they have to, because for some reason they want it to be under 2 hours, or they want to force humor in there somewhere. Like, it's don't stop doing that shit. Just go into it with an open mind. Oh God.
Yeah, I mean, I have to stop hyping up things, especially for trailers. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I think this is really it's good discussion. It's good talk.
Yeah. Oh, we 100% missed some stuff about
We
Thor,
definitely missed some things, but I think
yeah.
we got the grand scheme of what's to come. We got the grand scheme of what the movie was
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
So I mean, honestly, my final words to it is this has been it's been fun as always. I mean, I love doing these type of videos, of course, while we do them. It's been a little bit of a hiatus since our last one, of course, but I've been gone for like a week, and Mike's been sick for a little while before that, so I mean, it didn't really make the greatest times table for trying to make these videos. But
Yeah.
we're both back. We're both in action, and we're ready to make videos about pretty much everything nerdy, everything geeky, everything that has to do with superheroes, supervillains, or anything that's just fun.
Also, once you see this movie, go watch Screen Crush, all the Screen Crush videos about Thor and Love and Thunder. He fucking kills it, and he really he shows you why the movie's better than it actually was. Like when he because when you after you go see it, you're gonna be like, oh, it was okay, but like no, there was some deep shit in that movie, you just didn't realize it, because I didn't. I fucking went over my head. So let's go check out Screen Crush. His channel is fucking good.
It's very good. Screen Crush, I mean, all these different channels that we watch helps us to provide content for you guys. So at the end of the day, this has been Jacob CapShotz, this has been Michael Hush, and this has been Conversations. Thor Love and Thunder. If you enjoyed it, give it a like, comment, and subscribe. If you're watching it on Spotify, please share it for your friends. This has been
Peace.
us. Peace.